Let's welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer Tyler Sullivan to talk about the first games of this new week. Tyler, I know there's a lot to look forward to with a team that has a new head coach. But when it comes to the Giants, Thursday night, who is the player you will be watching in New England?
Yeah, for me, when you're talking about the Giants, or for anybody in this game, really, for me, it's Tyquan Thornton for the Patriots. Again, you can look at all these players, you could go down the list, but for me, for the Patriots, it's Tyquan Thornton, the second-round pick of New England this year. You talk about a burner, someone who has speed. He's someone that can bring that to the table, and we haven't really seen it on full display. I've been in Foxborough for the majority of training camp this offseason, and we've seen some flashes of his ability to kind of break open, but haven't seen it fully in the game. There was one instance during one-on-one drills between wide receivers and defensive backs where Thornton kind of got kicked off his spot a little bit, but recovered nicely and was able to fly down the field for a touchdown grab from Mac Jones. So for me, he's someone that I'm paying particularly attention to, especially if the ones and twos aren't necessarily going to play in this game or not see a ton of action like Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, those type of players. If they only get a few series, I want to see Thornton, him kind of produce in a more consistent role and show us that speed. That was one of the things that made him a second-round pick.
All respect to the lines makers for the work they're putting in for NFL preseason, because I'm not exactly sure how you do it. The odds makers have set the total for this game at 34. How do you see it playing out Thursday night in Foxborough?
Yeah, I see it going over, and it's kind of like you said, we kind of got new faces everywhere when you look at these two teams. Brian Daboll obviously becoming the first-year head coach for the Giants, but he made his bones as an offensive play caller for the Buffalo Bills as their OC. He's installing their offense over there in New York. They're going to push the envelope to try to get that thing installed with the game reps that they're going to see in front of them. And you could say the same thing on the other side with the New England Patriots. Josh McDaniels leaves for the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching job. Now it's a combination of Bill Belichick, Joe Judge, and Matt Patricia recreating and running this offense to varying degrees of success throughout camp this offseason. There have been some struggles, which makes me think that they're going to, again, push the envelope, take advantage of these 4 quarters of actual game reps, and work through the kinks of their offense. Both of these teams are still working all that in. I think you're going to see them go wire to wire in terms of pushing the envelope on offense.
All right, the Patriots are a 1.5 underdogs going into this one, which I'm not really sure why that is, but what's up with that line and which way do you see it going?
Well, I'm gonna lay the points here with the road team and go with the New York Giants, and maybe it can explain why. First of all, I like the quarterback situation better with New York at this point. We don't know what's going to happen with the Joneses, Daniel Jones and Mac Jones. We don't know how much they're going to play. I would guess a couple of series, maybe you get a quarter out of them, but more specifically, you're not seeing them in the third and fourth quarter where I think this game is going to be won. And when you look at who may be playing in those situations, for the Patriots, it might be rookie Bailey Zappi, 4th-round guy. I don't know if he's particularly going to be impactful in this game as I've seen him in camp. He's got a great deep ball. He's got a lot of zip on that ball, but he's struggled with the touch passes. The consistency hasn't really been there. So if he's the guy that's going to see the majority of those reps in the final 2 quarters, I'd have my concerns about New England. And then on the flip side, with the New York Giants, you have Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills behind Daniel Jones. Specifically with Davis Mills, you got to remember he was a carryover going from Buffalo to New York this offseason. He has built-in knowledge of what Brian Daboll wants to do offensively. I think it'll help them go up to somewhat of a hotter start when he gets onto the field, almost in a very similar sense to what we saw in the Hall of Fame game between Jarrett Stidham and the Las Vegas Raiders. He was coming over from the Patriots to the Raiders this offseason, obviously working in that Josh McDaniels offense, and he was able to run that a little bit more smoothly than I think anybody else would think. And so I think you might get that with Davis Mills in the second half, knowing that Daboll offense.
All right, Tyler, let's turn our attention to the Ravens and Titans now. And all the talk in Baltimore has been about their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and his contract situation. But without any clarity on that front, and Jackson not expected to play, which player in this game on either team are you looking forward to watching on Thursday night?
Yeah, it's the quarterback position, but it's not the Baltimore Ravens. It's the Tennessee Titans. I'm looking at rookie Malik Willis. He was the 3rd-round pick for them out of Liberty. I'm just fascinated to see how this situation for Tennessee is going to unfold. I think that this could really be someone to watch throughout the entire preseason, not just specifically for this game, because we all know what happened last year in Nashville. We know the struggles that Ryan Tannehill had. It was his worst season as a member of the Tennessee Titans. The interceptions were up, obviously, 3 3 interceptions in that playoff loss after they were the #1 seed coming out of that bye. It just wasn't up to par with what you wanted. And so if you have those struggles again for Ryan Tannehill, you're going to have some serious thoughts about what your future is at quarterback, especially considering that they can clear around $20 million in cap space from if they cut Tannehill next offseason. So if all of a sudden Malik Willis has an encouraging preseason, he can start setting the groundwork for saying, okay, let me state my case here. I could potentially be a guy that you could build this franchise around going forward, and it starts with the preseason.
All right, so the over-under for this one set at 31.5. What do you think about that total?
Yeah, it's unbelievably low, but I'm still taking the under. It's the preseason. I don't think you're going to get a lot of offense. And specifically, these two teams, you can't really say this about anybody in the NFL these days, but both of these clubs run the football. That's how they initiate their offense. You look at last year, rushing attempts. The Tennessee Titans were #1 in the NFL. Then you go down to #3 in rushing attempts. It was the Baltimore Ravens. Because these guys might not have their starters out there, yes, things might be a little bit more clunky, but they're still going to run their offense. They're still going to be a run-first team. It might not be Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson running around everywhere, but you're still going to have teams that want to run the football. I think you're looking at like a 17-10, 17-14 even gets us under this one. That's what I think you're looking at here with teams that want to run the football and change their offense that way.
All right, even without their starting QB, the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites at home heading into Thursday night's game. Where's the smart money going on this one?
It has to be the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you just got to look at what the recent history is under John Harbaugh. They're going into this preseason game 20 straight preseason wins under John Harbaugh. It's absolutely ridiculous the pace that they've been on in the exhibition season. And even just go beyond this crazy streak, they've just been balling out in the preseason under Harbaugh since he's gotten there. 40-12 is the straight up record. And then when you start looking at the spread, the 3.5, look at last year. They were blowing teams out in the preseason with an average margin of victory of 18 points. Yes, you might not get the MVP in Lamar Jackson, but you're going to get 110% of the Baltimore Ravens. They're putting their pedal to the metal in this. It's just been absolutely ridiculous to see how they do it. And so again, you might not see the studs, but Harbaugh is still going to push this team to go crazy. And I could see them pulling away with this one pretty easily.
All right, CBS Sports NFL writer Tyler Sullivan, thanks so very much. Let's recap Tyler's picks for Thursday night's NFL preseason games. He likes the Giants and Patriots to go over the 34. He's also got the Giants giving 1.5 on the road. Tyler sees the Ravens and Titans going under their total of 31.5, even though he says that's a pretty low number. And he's got the Ravens giving 3.5.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.